Yes, a very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. We thank you so much for following all our programs. We welcome you back from the Eid celebrations, and thank you so much for following all our programs. I now welcome you to this week's edition of UBC On One with Michael Jordan Lukomwa, where we host an individual and have a conversation with them from different walks of life. We have leaders, we have business people, we have religious leaders, we have politicians, we have people from different walks of life. And we have another one this particular weekend. He's a very senior leader in this country. He has served Uganda, I would say, wholeheartedly as a professional and as a leader. Yes, he's a medical doctor at that. He has served Uganda as a Minister for Finance, Minister for Health, and Minister for Defense. And as well, he has lifted our flag high at a level of an ambassador in China. We want to know how life is now and what he is doing and how he sees things. We are going to discuss Uganda generally in his view. Join me, welcome Dr. Kiyonga. He is our guest this evening. Doctor, we are so honored to have you on this show.
Good. Jordan, I'm glad to be with you.
Yes. How are you? How is life? How are you doing?
Life is normal and business is normal.
You see, I talked to some senior player of the Uganda Cranes.
Uganda Cranes? Football?
Yes.
Okay.
And I met him at, the Cranes was playing Ghana sometime at Nambole. So I was seated with him at the pitch, and I asked him, how does it feel when you're now watching it from from the pavilion like the rest of us who have never played? So I want to pose that to you. How do you see Uganda now away from any office? Because you have served, nobody would doubt that. Now, at a pavilion like me and any other person, how do you see things?
No, that comparison doesn't apply to me, that I'm in the pavilion and people are playing, no? Why? Number one, because I'm a conscious leader, I'm a revolutionary.
Yes.
Wherever I am,
you're playing some role.
I'm playing some role.
Okay.
That's a commitment. Number two, I am a member of the Central Executive Committee of the ruling party NRM. So from those two perspectives, I cannot just be...
You're not like the other players.
No. No.
Okay, so in your capacity, how do you look at
Uganda is on track, is moving in the right direction, the direction of transforming our people, the direction of helping our people to improve their welfare, create prosperity for themselves, taking advantage of the environment, but also government programs. We are moving in the right fundamental direction of linking up with our brothers and sisters in the rest of Africa, starting with the East African community, so that we can trade more together, we can discuss our issues together, we can build our infrastructure together and prosper like other areas of the world.
How would you compare the times of your days in Parliament? For example, let me start with Parliament and the way you see Parliament today. Because you were in Parliament at a time where one would say, as a younger man. Right now you are seeing men of the age that you were who are acting in Parliament. How do you see, is there a difference in how things are being handled?
Yes, initially I got worried when I saw, particularly this new Parliament, big comparative to ours, and mainly young people. But quickly I woke up, I realized that no, this is a democratic process. So if the population are mainly young, you will get mainly young people. So that is in the right place. But nevertheless, I got concerned. I said, hey, these young people, given the problems we are, how will they manage But initially, I took solace in the fact that you had some older people there who had been in parliaments before, and also the army, the army people who are there. So I said, no, that's all right. But over time, over my observation, I am very happy. I'm very happy with these young people. I've been following their debates on the TV, but also I've had close contacts with some of them, and I find that they are conscious. They know Uganda, and they want to play their role.
In your view, do you see we are on course as a country with them?
Yes, we are on course. We are on course, except where we need, because we need to move with speed, because the numbers and opportunity to contribute is a bit constraining.
Yes.
But I see in the committees, they really try their best. When you hear and you see the reports, overall, I'm really happy with this parliament. My initial fears
Have all been proven wrong.
yes, I see them. They take correct lines. They know this is Uganda. They know this part of Africa. They know that we are a poor country. We are struggling. They know we have security problems. They know that there are some mistakes in the system, and they try to correct them. They've been very, very, very strong. If ministers are making mistakes, they speak out. They have been censuring ministers who have made mistakes. Fantastic. So it's an awake, and it's an institution that is awake and vibrant.
What do you make of the numbers? During your time, I don't think we are even over 100. In the early 90s.
Okay.
Yes. Today we have 500 of them.
Are big, but it also means, in terms of representation, we are better off. Almost every corner of the country has someone represented. So what will need to be done is to increase opportunity for that participation. Yes, in the plenary, but also in the committees. I think more work now is being done in the committees. The short element in the committees is the publicity. I think the committees don't have enough publicity like plenary. We, the public, need to see our representatives more, enough to see that our issues are being handled. Yeah.
I'll take you now to cabinet. You were there in 3 capacities, big offices: Minister for Finance, Economy in your hands; Minister for Health, all our health, all of us Ugandans in your hands; Minister for Defense, our security in your hands. So if there is any place you know very well, that is cabinet. How would you compare your days and what we have today, the kind of team the president has today, and how they are managing this beautiful part of Africa?
Well, I am not inside the cabinet, but at least I know that they have regular meetings. That's fantastic, almost every week. Once people are meeting, the other things are important, but the fact that they are meeting and talking is okay. There's work being done by the ministries. But maybe we could do with stronger supervision by the ministers in the countryside, to go there and not just go on a rally, go and meet like the district management team or your sector. If there are people of agriculture, go and meet them also in the district and go with them in the countryside to see how things are happening. That, in my view, doesn't seem to be happening enough. It needs to be done. Otherwise, once there is a framework, there are meetings, issues are being discussed, we move on.
Then your party, Yes, you have been there throughout.
Yeah.
How do you see things currently? You're a member of the SEC.
Yes, the party.
Do you see things the same way like us on
The
the...
party is doing well because at the end of the day, what we see in the government, in the parliament, is enabled by the ruling party. They are in the kitchen and things are moving. However, our party is the structures of the party are massive. In my view, this I have said both in the private and the public. We need to rethink the structures of the party. You know, for example, the conference,
The delegates conference.
huge, like 10,000 people. It's a big, more than a big rally.
How can that be changed, Honorable?
No, we set it up so we can change it. See, because there is a structure, there is a constitution. We made the constitution. We ourselves can change that constitution so that the structures are more manageable. They are more like when they come all over the place, where they sleep. To manage them has always been a challenge. The level of discussion is constrained when you have so many people.
With the big numbers.
Yes, with the big numbers. So the NRM, we need to restructure, in my view. We need to re-examine our structures and make them more cost effective. More cost effective.
Your party is in power and you are part of the team leading this country. What do you make of the situation where we have a number of challenges? I'm sure you are in touch with some of your people in the village, the people that you used to represent. You can see the levels of poverty there, the levels of misconduct among leaders at all different levels. What do you make of all these challenges that may stand in the way of the target of your revolution, as you call it? The high levels of poverty, challenges like corruption, misappropriation of resources and things like that. What do you make of them as somebody, a senior leader in the party that is in charge of the country for now?
Yes, first, I am happy that the NRM has increased opportunities for people down to the villages. Opportunities so that the people in the village can take advantage of these opportunities to improve themselves. First is the issue of security. Fantastic. Number two, basic infrastructure, power, some water, some electricity. And then programs as simple as giving people seedlings. These make a lot of difference.
We can't take it for granted.
They are really very strategic interventions because I'm there in the village. I have my acre or two of land and I'm growing some beans because I can find some seeds and grow beans. I may not myself make seedlings for coffee, for example, or orange or mango, but the NRM government has made efforts to take seedlings to the people down in the village. And that has made a difference. There are people who didn't have coffee, they have coffee. There are people who didn't have oranges, they have oranges. We can do better. We need not only to give the seedling of coffee, make sure it is the right type of coffee, make sure we show that Ugandan how to space that coffee. We make sure he knows how to detect a pest on the coffee, and if he needs a chemical to kill it, he gets it. But opportunities have increased. You can have inputs, you can have the programs like Myoga, money goes there, Women Fund, Youth Livelihood, All these have increased opportunities, and one is happy about that. But
Yes.
they could do better. I will give you 2 examples. I've found young people. The government gives them in a group like 8 or 10 million shillings. And then they buy boda. They buy boda. The short of it is that these children who buy boda, they have not, at home they don't even have bicycle. So immediately they jump on these bodas. In a short time, they have banked them.
Somebody has never managed a bicycle,
So
he goes into an investment of a boda.
It's improvement to follow it up. Yes, you bought a boda. Yes, so you are a group of 8. Who is the rider? And let's agree that not everybody will ride.
Yes.
He will bring the money like this or put it in the bank, something like. So that needs to be regulated. We should not just leave it. It needs to be accompanied with some education, some guideline. Then we'll get better benefit.
Because I was going to ask you, Doctor, in your capacity as somebody who managed the economy of this country, as Minister for Finance for some time, why do you think these programs do not score the real goals that they are set to score? Emyoga livelihood program, now we have the PDM is on. As they go for the PDM, what guidance can you share, or what idea can you share?
I think the biggest gap, this is fantastic. This is the first time in our history that a government can come up and put these resources so low down. Yes. But I think the biggest gap is what I would call extension. By extension, I mean to build an infrastructure that gives basic education to the beneficiaries, very, very, very critical, that monitors what is going on. But in addition, now that, for example, PDM is coming, it's a lot of money. PDM every year is going to be like 1 trillion shillings. That's a lot of money. But this money is just going to a village. Is going to a parish. The institutional mechanism there is hardly there. The institutional mechanism. I think our old story of UCB needs to come back.
What was it like?
Had almost reached the parish level, deep down. Because money, to be handling money in our phones, in our hands, is very tempting, it's very inefficient. We need some institutional mechanism. So I go, I take money from PDM, I go and buy chicken and sell, I should bring back to some institution. Not with these people who are just keeping money under the mattress. Those people will lose that money. Many people are not near a banking system.
So you think these measures, if handled that way, they can really throw poverty out of this country?
Yes, as a contribution, not by themselves. So one gap is some institutional mechanism.
Yes.
Gap number 2, what I called extension. I'll give you an example. Near my village, there is an NGO, Save the Children Fund.
Yes.
It came over 3 years, convinced people in one village that you, instead of planting your beans your traditional way, clustering them, put in line, and it's a big struggle to convince my mother, who has over many years, 70 plus years, she has been planting beans in her, and say now do it on a line. It's a big struggle, but those people did it in one village. They moved people from planting beans in a cluster way, traditional way, to putting in a line.
Yes.
And when they came back to measure, they found the productivity of those who are doing online was like 6 times. For the same input, the other man who is doing the lines was producing 6 times.
Than the traditional.
Yes, but it needed that patience over 3 years. It needed people who come and sit directly, not on the radio, not in a baraza,
Yes.
peasant by peasant, sitting with them. So yes, these opportunities have come.
For the information to sink.
Yes, to understand, to argue, to demonstrate. Until we are at the doorstep and having an extension which directly links with the peasant, poverty will be difficult to finish.
How do you think practically this can be done, Doctor, with the way you see how programs are being managed and run in government? What idea would you give to have the extension of information down to the
people, more people, of course, which means more money, like parish development model.
Yes.
Is best at the parish. The person we have at the parish is the parish chief. We have some people at the sub-county. You may have 2, 3 agriculture officers. Even if you have 5 in a parish has like 5 villages.
Yes.
They are still far. Because what needs to be done is to convince, to interact with the poor peasant that instead of doing things like this, let's do them like this, we'll get better results. Those people in the village, they are confident people. The way he does his things, he believes that's the way. So to turn him around, you need engagement at close range.
So we have to drive our programs in that direction.
Absolutely.
I thank you so much, Doctor. To you watching, we are with Dr. Crispus Kiyonga, former minister, former ambassador, senior leader. That is the best way I can describe him in a nutshell. We are taking a short break. Do not go anywhere. On return, we're going to talk about another bigger challenge with our programs. Him being a senior leader, he's going to talk about it, to tell us his view about it. Thank you for watching.
Jerry Con! Hey, Master Blaster! Touch him, man! Jerry Con with muscle! Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava! Best group is I teach you. When I'm going to which the because of the camera is very far. Is you serious? Is serious you? What? Eh? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs. And you get show him that they don't joke with you.
Okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako. N'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga. Awamu teri kitulema. This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
She is our family's pride, and as her father, I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sauti 116.
UBC One-on-One, thank you so much for watching and welcome back from the break. We are continuing with the discussion with Dr. Crispus Kiyonga. I introduced him as a very senior leader here, having served Uganda in a number of capacities. Member of Parliament, minister 3 times, and as ambassador representing Uganda to China. Doctor, we have, first of all, welcome back from the break. We have talked about programs that government has put in place to see that they change lives of us, the ordinary Ugandans, in different capacities. But there are different challenges that stand in the way of the success of these programs. And currently, the major one, the major challenge, I don't know whether you will agree with me, but there is a very big challenge of corruption and mishandling of resources, diversion of resources in your government, in the government of your party. First of all, Doctor, do you agree that we have this problem?
Yes, corruption is a big problem in our country.
What do you think gives birth to this problem in our country?
I think there are two things. One is kind of blackmail. You have made this mistake, unless you give us this money, we will hang you. So I hear some people would give money. And I think that means there is a problem in the system. In the system, because this is public money. If the system is working, how are you able to get out this money and give it out irregularly like that? So that's a system problem. So I have one time I saw it a bit in the 9th Parliament. My permanent secretary and the Chief of Defense Forces then, General Katumba, came and told me that MPs on the Defense and Internal Affairs Committee wanted money.
Because of what? What had happened?
They came and said, they said money. Okay, so they want you to give them money? They said, yes. So did you give them money? He said, no, we told them we don't have money, they should come and see you. I said, okay, you call them for me. They came. Oh, honorable colleagues, these are very important people. The Committee of Defense and Internal Affairs, the ones who will pass our budget, who will recommend that Parliament passes our budget.
So is that why they wanted money from you?
So they came and said, you Kiyonga, we are telling your people to give us money. They are refusing. I said, money for what? They said, you, like us, we are going for elections. I said, yeah, we are going for elections. So, see, we need money. I said, but how do we get the money? Say, from the budget. I said, no, that money is not for that purpose. And they went back. We finished the day. I don't know if they went somebody else, what happens? So there is a question, okay, the orientation, the political, the ideological orientation. For you to know you are MP, you are a minister, you are a chairman 5, you are a cow, where is our country going? What effort does it require? What commitment does it require? Very, very critical. So that you yourself, you don't need the Auditor General, you yourself,
It starts with
Yes, that's with you. You consciously feel this is our country. Then the system. The system. So when you hear corruption, it is both issue of ideological commitment and systems. Because people who are able to siphon money, they take advantage of weakness within the system.
some loopholes within the system.
Yeah.
There is a scandal currently. Actually, there are a number of them. The Parliament is investigating NSSF, IGG is talking about what and what, a number of them. But the one that has taken everybody's attention is the issue of the iron sheets, which were bought, meant for Karamoja, but they ended up in totally different parts of the country and not in Karamoja. If you have followed this story, Honorable, what do you make of it? What does it say about our country and the leadership in general?
For mistakes, like someone wanting to unfairly access public resources is not new. What is new in this current situation is the scale. That people have made similar mistakes in the past is on record. But the scale and the delay in handling it is what concerns me. Because the system has the capacity, the system, if it is being followed, has the capacity to notice that Kiyonga wants to do something here wrongly,
Yes.
who has done something wrong, and call him to order. The system, the whole system.
You mean the system can detect
Absolutely.
that Davis Kamukama wants to run away with?
Can detect that he's about or has done, even has done.
Has done, I may agree, but
Yeah.
currently we don't see the system being able to detect, because we wouldn't be having these scandals.
Well, you may be right currently.
Yes.
But you see, we have like, when it comes to expenditures, there is someone we call accountant general. When an expenditure is being undertaken, he has officers who check the vouchers, whether they are properly filled, whether they are reflecting the right vote and item before the payment is done.
Yes.
Then afterwards, we have Auditor General, and that Auditor General has done a wonderful job. You should see his reports. So the system, and the other aspects of the system, cabinet is part of the system. How is cabinet part of the system? Cabinet is a body which is collective. That's what people need to remind themselves. If you are a minister, I'm a minister, you make a mistake or you do something positive, we are with you.
Yes.
Collectively. Yes, you're a member of cabinet, you act
Responsibility
on our behalf.
Everybody's share.
You are minister of works. The roads you do it on our behalf. We cannot stand and say, this minister of works, he has done 10 roads in his home area. In my area, there was nothing. Where were you? How was he doing those roads? Because that minister of works must come to the cabinet and say, with this budget I have, I can only do 10 roads. And these 10 roads I'm going to do in the following locations. You may disagree, you are right. You may convince him so that instead of doing the 10 roads in the places he has planned, he alters.
For you.
Now, you don't miss that boat. And then he goes to do the roads.
Yes.
So don't come back and tell me that, no, that General Katumba went and did the road in Kiyonga's village. No, where were you? Katumba should not do a road unless you, the member of the cabinet. If Katumba is doing roads, you will notice. You will ask that, you Katumba, you are our member here. We hear you are doing roads. You have never briefed us.
So it must be generated from the whole team.
Yes.
So when you talk of all these agencies plus cabinet at the top,
Yes.
there must be ability to detect.
Absolutely. To detect that you are doing the right thing.
Or something
a mistake.
or something wrong is going to happen.
Yes.
Then what goes wrong? Ideally, what goes wrong? That we end up with these scandals.
Mistakes will still happen. Even when you have met, you have agreed, mistakes will still.
human nature from.
Yes, mistakes will happen. Your job is the system to run in such a way that even when you have agreed, your colleague goes and makes a mistake, you must detect, because he must regularly come back and say, the task I told you I was going to do, it has now reached here. And we also in the population.
Doctor, I'm going to go practical here.
Uh-huh.
You see, yes, you said these mistakes have been all around.
They will happen, and they will happen again. They have happened in the past.
But as we speak now, I think we are hearing so many of them. You get?
I'm not sure about the count. I know that someone.
Me, I'm in the information business. I'll say there are many.
Okay.
Yes, and some of them would sound grave. For example, in an issue of Karamoja, for example, currently there is NSSF where they're talking about almost trillions. Well, what do you think is not happening in Uganda in as far as taming human nature with public resources is concerned?
The Karamoja thing, yes, really the scale causes concern. What do I mean by scale? We are talking about 39 billion.
Yes.
We are talking about an area of a country that is disadvantaged,
Yes.
and we want to cause correction there. The one who wants to cause correction is NRM. The one who wants to cause correction, the instrument is cabinet. The instrument is Prime Minister's office. But all of us are in the chain.
Yes.
So when it occurs to this scale, the question is, what happened to the chain? Yes, it can be Kitutu, it can be Nandutu, but what happened to the chain? That's the first question.
Yes.
Yes. Nandutu, okay, you go to jail. Kitutu, but what happened to the chain? Yes, we know Nandutu is there, but we know Nandutu is not a standalone.
This is the team.
Yes, this is the team.
Where was the captain, the goalkeeper?
Precisely. So, you know, in economics, these people talk about market forces, that the market is the one deciding, allocating. But they also talk about market failure. The market can fail. The market can fail. So this one is a system failure.
Okay.
Yes. This scale means a system failure. There is a system which has failed. Yes, that terminal man who was caught should answer, but where is the system? What has happened to the system?
There must be a leakage somewhere.
Yes, precisely. So we must check the system.
How are we going to do that?
Well, there are mechanisms. We talk about going to the drawing board. Because as I've told you, these things have happened before. Yes. And they have been fought by the system. One time, for example, my sister, Saida Bumba, my brother, Kidu Makubia, my sister, Kabakumba, they made the mistakes of a similar nature. But the system was able to say, hey, what has happened? Why have you done this? No, this is so serious. Your sister, your brother.
Go home.
Yes. And the public didn't know very much.
At that very point, Honorable,
Yeah.
those days we used to see such actions. We don't see such things today.
That's what I'm saying. We need to check the system. What has happened? Checking the system means me, I'm a doctor.
Actually, in some areas, Ugandans will tell you someone they are complaining about will bounce again in some other.
In your tribe, our late leader, Dr. Kiseka, you say that he's Msao Mutendeke, a trained doctor.
Just like you.
Yeah, okay. So you, if you come to me and you say, me Lukoma, I'm having headache, Kiyonga, I'm really suffering, I didn't sleep last night. Another person may say, oh, Lukoma, do you take aspirin, do you take Panadol? And then you may decide. But if you come to me, say, hey, Lukoma, when this start, do you normally get it? Did you sleep badly? You have to, even after you think you have answered my questions properly,
Yes.
I will say, okay, now, Ndugulukoma, go behind the curtain, put off your dressings. I want to examine you. After examining you, I may find that I need to take blood. I may need to ask for X-ray to really find what is causing the headache.
Yes.
So we have a system failure, we have a symptom examination.
You are a leader in the party that has been responsible for us for 37 years.
Yes, and we've done very well.
How do you have a loophole in the system as small as that, but causing a very big damage? Because actually, the belief now is that the NRM has failed to fight corruption in Uganda.
Yes, so far, NRM has not effectively fought corruption.
You're avoiding the word failed.
Yes, because it's always a continuing struggle. It's always a continuing struggle.
Okay.
I think all is not lost. I think we need to check the system, the ideological commitment, the political consciousness, the systems. Because I told you before, how can a PS give money outside the system, not official? Because in the parliament we pass budget. This is for road, this is for...
Every penny is allocated for something.
So how is it that you can remove money and do something we didn't agree on? System failure. So let's not panic. Let's go back to the system. And some of the interventions the president has done show you, like this SHAKU, this State House anti-corruption unit, is of yesterday. It's a small unit, but you can see they are finding some things which were there before. So things like that SHAKU, plus what the Auditor General has been saying, are telling us that there is a system failure. To read WUKO, let's go back and open the box and see where there are some nuts not fixed.
Currently, you realize that it is the challenge, the barricade standing in the way of almost all government programs. Can we wake up one morning and we don't have corruption in Uganda? Or at least when it is really...
Absolutely.
We can.
Oh, yes.
Or what measure can be taken?
First, examine the system. It is not just a straight answer. Examine the system. How is the accounting system? Recheck ourselves on ideological consciousness. I see people have been going to Chankwanzi. That is intended to raise consciousness, political consciousness. I don't know how it is helping. But let's not just treat symptoms. Let's examine ourselves. Yeah.
I talked to your colleague, another senior. Her name is Dr. Speciosa Kaziwe. It was Women's Day. She said, my brother, the president, fire all those ministers. What would be your view about the right step to solve this Mabati issue?
First of all, my sister,
Dr. Speciosa.
she's my young sister in age, but my older sister in seniority, because she was vice president. Like me, she's a medical doctor. Actually, a bigger doctor than myself. Why? Because she did the masters, which I also did, but she went and patched up for her masters with sophisticated economics. So I wasn't with you when you talked with her, But if it is true, she said the answer was
Yes, she said.
sacking ministers, there I will not agree with her immediately. For me, it is system check-up. The individuals are operating a system. If the system is flawed or is being bypassed, they will make those mistakes. First, go to the system.
Because when you handle the system, it will not only solve the
It will constrain everybody.
generally,
Yeah.
the corruption problem will be handled.
You know, we went to a conference, I think in 1990s, me and there is a brother of mine called Ruzindana.
Yes.
He used to be IGG. So we went to a conference, I think it was Hong Kong, on corruption.
Yes.
And one of the discussions we had there, people were saying that some people were bringing the suggestion that as part of fighting corruption, you take money to people. So Lukoma is a cow, chief administrative officer, or something like that. You take a lot of money to him. And he takes the money and maybe does something for you. And others were arguing that no, this is not a correct approach. Why are you tempting Lukoma? Better follow him in what he is authorized to do. Follow, see how he's doing it. But for you to come and tempt him to prove that he's corrupt is not correct. And I think that argument is correct. Why are you bringing money externally? If Lukoma is an accounting officer, he has a system. You just follow him. Is he following this system? If he's dodging, you will catch him.
How do you see our economy as a former minister of finance, looking at the state of economics in the world, prices of different commodities, basic, going up and down and things like that? How can we stabilize as Uganda?
The economy is basically okay. The Ugandan economy is okay because the fundamentals on which it sits are all right. The infrastructure has improved, the roads, power. I hope soon Karuma will be commissioned so that the price of power comes down. Security is good, it's part of the equation. So the fundamentals of our economy are fine. I think what we did, then of course we also hit, Uganda was hit by COVID. People lost capital like anybody else.
Yes.
The people I've talked to, all the people in the business, nobody has recovered up to pre-COVID. Yeah. So people are still suffering out of that. The impact of Ukraine, Russia, yes, to some extent, has also hit us. But the Ugandan economy has resilience, is strong in the sense that people up to now, for example, produce their own food. That's a huge advantage. When I visited Ghana and Nigeria in the 90s, when I was the Minister of Finance, I found the people in Ghana, they were eating rice. Like in my area, we eat cassava. Those people were eating rice. In Ghana, I think in Nigeria also. But the rice was coming from outside. Can you imagine?
It was not
Ghana is just like us. Their food, instead of cassava like us, or matoke, was rice, which they were importing. That's not the situation in Uganda. However, the situation in Uganda is getting exhausted. The food security in Uganda is sitting on an edge.
You have people in this country who are dying of hunger.
Not only dying, but one meal is sufficient meal.
At least those who have a meal, at least they are better off. The people who are totally dying.
The food security in the country is now in question. I got some figures from the School of Public Health here in Mulago. They have been doing some surveys. The rate of stunting, everybody has what is norm. Like us in Kasese, we are short people, but that's our norm. Yeah. So when they say there is stunting, they say the Mukonzo should be so many meters, but it's even shorter than. So the rate of stunting across Uganda is very high. In areas like Chigezi, it's like 50%. Rwenzori, meaning Kasese.
And that is definitely attributed to food.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, food insecurity. Yeah, food insecurity. In the north, the east, I remember those because in the medical school, when we were there, we used to have a map tracing malnutrition, severe malnutrition, marasmus, kwashoko, like that. And it coincided with the banana belt of Uganda. Buganda, Western Uganda, that's where the highest malnutrition was. In Teso and Acholi and Lango, I don't remember Western Nile, nothing. Why? The tradition of food of those areas was naturally rich. Malakwanga, you know, you have heard about Malakwanga. Malakwanga is vegetables plus simsim plus very rich. You who wants meat, you can think this
Eaten with kalo.
Yes, that's how the food was in Teso and Lango and Acholi. Not by government, that was their traditional way.
So how can the situation now be handled? Yes.
As well. That is no longer in Teso, that's no longer in Acholi. So Acholi and Lango and Nani have joined Uganda and Western, measured by the rate of stunting among children who are 3 years and below.
What does this say about what are
food insecurity in our country? We need to address that yesterday. Food insecurity in the country. We need to pay more attention to food security.
What kind of a future do you see with your party?
NRM is doing very well. NRM really has built a lot of experience. That's why we have survived this long. It's the first time in Uganda that you can have a party in power for so long. We made some mistakes. We need to correct those mistakes, and we need to improve our methods of our way of working. And in my view, we even need to reform our party. We need to make it more cost-effective in its structures.
Okay, but the opposition is also building muscle for you.
The opposition, you know, some of us didn't like this idea of marriage party. We wanted everybody to be in the movement. What are you competing about? But we were in the minority, I think, those of us who thought like that. And we went to marriage, because the marriage party really wastes resources. You find the intelligent people, but because they hear that opposition, because he's in opposition, he just opposes everything. And you waste effort. How do you waste the effort? If you are a respected leader from your area, you are publicly opposing a program which is viable, because the people believe in you, they also will not join that program to their disadvantage. So now we go Merit Party. We tried to form a Merit Party. Once we were forced to go into Merit Party.
Did you say forced?
Yes.
Okay.
We were forced. Yeah. So we tried to construct a Merit Party which could work for the country. And I will tell you some of the elements. Number one, it is us, NRM, who said right in the Constitution a position of leader of opposition, ourselves. NRM. You can say it is our disadvantage. You say no. Now that we have gone to multi-party, you write in the constitution that there will be a leader of opposition. Opposition against us. 2, give money. We ourselves said give money to every party. Why? We didn't want parties to be agents of foreigners. Say no, in order to stop them going outside, give them money
For their operations.
Some people, I don't know where they went, then they brought something called iPod. I don't know where iPod came from. Ours was, once you pass the test of being a political party, you should be financed by the state. Not just because you are in parliament.
So your party has a future?
So we built a multi-party system which we believed would be national. But what I begin to see elements of foreign agencies infiltrating our system.
The multi-party system?
Yeah. This we must fight. We must not allow this. This is...
Okay. How about Dr. Kiyonga? I'm asking now on behalf of the people of Kasese as we wind up. Do they have a chance to see him on the ballot come 2026 or not?
As you can see, we are in leadership. We are giving our views. We are having the population. If we see the need that we need to join a particular fora, we shall offer ourselves.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
Doctor, we thank you so much. Thank you so much for the time and whatever we have shared. His name is Dr. Crispus Kiyonga. He is a medical doctor. He was a member of parliament for a very good time, Minister for Finance, Minister for Health, Minister for Defense, Ambassador of Uganda to
National Political Commissar.
National Political Commissar, by the way. How did I forget that? And now a senior leader in this country, ready to share information with guidance just like he has done here. We thank him so much, and I thank you so much for watching. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa with Davis Kamukam and the whole team. We thank you for watching and wish you the best of the night. Bye-bye.